All right, developers are struggling right now. If you've been following the headlines, this recent development that the Curv building, ultra luxury condo downtown, has been canceled, going into receivership here. I also want to touch on this foreign buyer ban because developers now are clamoring to axe this ban. So these developers, they got together and they wrote a letter to the Prime Minister, as well as our Premier David Eby and the Minister of Housing Gregor Robertson. And they're calling now for changes to the foreign buyers ban. Of course, if they had it that way, they would probably abolish it completely. They want that foreign money coming back into Vancouver. So as you guys probably recall here, the narrative was that foreign money speculators were driving up the costs of homes in Vancouver and driving it out of reach for ordinary working class people. And so the federal government came in first with a foreign buyers tax. They then upped the tax before installing an all-out ban. So you cannot buy property in Vancouver if you're a foreign buyer. You have to have your PR status, be a Canadian citizen, or there are some exemptions for temporary work permits. But as a general rule, foreign buyers can't buy in Canada. So here's the impact of that. Developers have been halting construction. Construction has been they've taken an axe to construction here. And between March 2024 and 2025, housing starts plunged 50%. So in the pre-sale market, guys, in order to get something, just to get construction financing, you have to be about 60% pre-sold. That's before you can even get shovels in the ground. And a lot of these pre-sale investors are going to be from outside of Vancouver, outside of Canada. They're going to be foreign buyers. So this has completely decimated the pre-sale industry. BC, you have to understand, like it or not, we are a real estate driven economy. It makes up about a quarter of BC's GDP. The other quarter is in forestry and mining, which I was actually at a conservative event last year. They had some of these industry execs from the mining industry, and they had a bunch of charts and graphs showing the exact same thing. Mining, forestry, that's all been crushed under the NDP. Very similar to what's happening in the pre-sale market. I know a lot of you guys are NDP voters. You know, they're the blue collar party, working man's party. They're looking out for you. I know because I used to vote NDP. I used to work at the city of Vancouver. It's great if you're in the public sector. If you're punching the clock, you're in the public sector, you've got a defined benefit pension plan, sure, vote NDP. I did for the longest time till I saw the other side of the equation here when I went into the private sector, which of course is the backbone of the economy. You guys in the private sector working for a living, the NDP is not good. They don't have a great record on the economy. But our Premier David Eby was asked about this. What do you think about getting rid of the foreign buyers ban or maybe amending the foreign buyers ban? And he immediately poured a bucket of cold water on it. And he pointed to that Curv project as an example of prices being disconnected from local incomes. Because, of course, anything that pencils now in pre-construction for downtown is going to start around $2,000 a square foot, all the way up to, I think this Curv was marketed close to $4,000 a square foot. Foreign money or not, that's what pencils. That's what these developers have to charge. And that's why I always tell you guys, $1,200 or $1,300 for per square foot for a concrete condo. Maybe it's not brand new, but I think that's pretty good value. But there is no more condos. There's no more condos being built downtown. I'm looking at the downtown skyline right now. I see a couple of cranes projects that are getting ready to cap off, but nothing new in the pipeline. Construction has come to a halt. They've taken an axe to supply, and that is going to drive up the prices. The government meddling in the free market always has unintended consequences. So what if they'd gone ahead and built that Curv? Just hypothetically, no foreign buyer ban. They brought the foreign money in. They completed that Curv development, ultra luxury building, leveraged the development cost levies, leveraged the community amenity contributions to build some infrastructure here. Maybe maybe fill some potholes. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but our roads are completely crumbling here in Vancouver. Especially, I notice it when I drive out to Coquitlam and Richmond. Their roads are in much better shape than downtown Vancouver. But what they've done is they've pivoted. They've waved the white flag on ownership in Vancouver, these politicians. They want to incentivize and subsidize this purpose-built rental because they want you to be a renter. It's socialism 101. They don't even want you to own a car because most of these units are not going to come with dedicated parking stalls. They want you to ride your bike to work, even though we live in a rainforest here in Vancouver. These politicians, I swear, they're not going to be happy until everyone in Vancouver is a woke hipster riding their bike to the Cracker Jack factory. That's their end game here. Everybody's going to be a renter. It's the whole socialist ideology here. So before I get on too much of a tangent, though, listen, I don't think the ban is going anywhere. It's just been extended to 2027. It'll probably be extended again. It's a politically popular ban because think of the optics of this. The government putting its foot down. No more foreign capital. We're going to put our foot down against the greedy speculators in the development industry. So it looks good from an optics perspective and a political perspective. But the public doesn't understand, guys. They don't. This is going to drive up condo prices long term. It's just basic supply and demand. And I think once the public starts to understand this, once you see the fallout from this over the next few years, as the condo market prices continue to go up here, it's going to be too late though, because switching on new supply, it's not like switching a light switch. It can take years and years to go through the development application process. It could be till the mid-2030s before we get more condo supply in Vancouver now with what's going on. So I think this is going to drive up prices. But again, this is the result of government, socialist government meddling in the free market enterprise system. And I think it is going to drive up condo prices. They need to change this foreign buyers ban because it is completely going to stop any kind of development in Vancouver. I'm Jay Cooper. Feel free to comment below or subscribe. See you in the next video.